Hey there, it's Simone, your favorite neighborhood nerd. It is a Saturday afternoon. Today did not go as planned at all. Max and I spent, sorry for the circle, 2 hours at the emergency vet today. First time for everything. Why? Because we played and this guy got the toy snapping at his eye, and his third eyelid was covering 3/4 of his eye. Both eyes were super red, swollen, and so I just needed to make sure that there was nothing on his, is it corneal? I don't know. And so when we left home, his eye was still swollen a lot and the eyelid covered his eye. When we arrived there, you could see that it was already better, but I just needed to make sure that everything was okay because I'm going away next week, like in 2 days, and I cannot have him be sick and not looked after. And so spend a ton of money, but he's totally fine. Nothing is wrong. But now we need to get some steps in, and I brought the ball here. So maybe we can, the goal is to get the dude to get out some pent up energy. And I'm gonna show you this. Max loves these. What are these? He needs to check every single one out. Maybe I need to start bringing my outdoor camera with me again, because it seems like I'm back into the let's talk about things and film outside videos again. But it's still early in the day, but also it's going to be dark in 5 seconds. So we're going for a walk, and then I would like to sit down and talk through all of my 2025 pen purchases in detail, just to get some things straight in my head about how I feel about every pen. I'm not sure if that will also lead me to inventory my nibs yet again. But I think, especially with the maker pens that I have and my not love of Jowo nibs, I need to make sure that I have a cool nib for every single one of my maker pens. So that's the plan. And then I can't really ask you for your opinion because I would probably have to start tomorrow with this vlog. I would probably have to ask you if you're okay seeing a Thanksgiving getaway vlog at the end of December. Maybe that's cool. So maybe I need to start filming that vlog on my small little big tiny expensive camera, so that it's not as shaky as this one. So let's do this and see where we get. I have made a list of pens. I put these in brackets, but I'm gonna include them anyway. It doesn't matter. I have them somewhere here, but I don't have them all at the same place, so there might be some rummaging around. But I want to talk through them and see how I feel about them right now. So this is the second one that I want to talk about. I purchased One Size Minis and a whole bunch of them to put my pilot parallel nibs into them. Now, it was interesting because some of the pilot parallel nibs fit in there really nicely. Some of them did not fit. And what I did, I used a craft knife and just like shaved down a little bit of the feed of the parallel nib. Like here, I would just scrape some off and then it would fit. Now, number one, I had this one inked as well because I inked it in October of 2025. It was still inked. I loved the ink that was in here. And yes, it looks like a desk pen. Yes, it's not really portable, but I'm not going anywhere. And most of the time that I'm using my pilot parallel nibs is right here at this desk. And so I don't really care if it's this long pen in the ugly body, because it totally works for me. Either way, this works too. I don't really care much about the shape and the look of the pen. I have noticed if the nib experience is stellar, and with a pilot parallel, the nib experience is the most playful and amazing experience ever. And so I don't really care about the body. Especially now that I cleaned them after using them for almost a year. Two of the sections that I have cleaned so far have developed cracks in them, and I can see it, and I think you can too, right here. But I can also feel it. And I'm wondering, I would assume that ink would seep out through this if I were to ink it again. Now, the interesting thing is that while I was using them, I did not notice these cracks. And it seems like they're getting bigger and bigger. And what my assumption is that by cleaning them, either with pressure with a bulb syringe or using them in the ultrasonic cleaner, something must put too much pressure on these or bring out the already existing cracks, because I shoved these in with force and now they're cracked. These are the only two that I have found so far. So this was a fun game. I spent, I think, around $50 on this, but it wasn't a necessary purchase at all. Because I have learned through this that I don't need a different pen body for this type of experience and play. This is a later date thing. So these all go in here. I will ink them. I have pulled out, for some reason, same thing here. These, I don't really like inking these in my regular rotation. I have two of these Lamy Joys. But I'm figuring, I have stub nibs that I could use in my play pile. And I have this broken pen body here that if I'm able to recover these nib units that I have shoved into, I have this right here. The nib units that I have recovered, hopefully I can recover this without breaking anything. But if I am able to, then I will move these into here, into this one. So then I purchased the TWSBI Mini AL Silver. And the reason why I did that is because, see, there is the shuffling and the rummaging in the stuff. Because I had the nib that is in here is a
grind that is a reverse architect grind by Kirk Spear. And I have put this on the TWSBI Mini because it seals well, it keeps the ink, usually document ink, fresh, it doesn't dry out. However, this section, there's some coating, as you can see, is peeling off. And so I thought, I have some money, let me spend this on the AL Mini. And so I just swapped out the nib. You can do that very easily. It's not no finagling with anything. This is on here, you pull it out, you just move it over to the other body. This is not something that another one that was unnecessary, because first of all, this still works. And also I am not enjoying the nib as much as I had hoped. Sometime throughout this year, I started enjoying writing with a little bit of a broader nib in my, I want to get the water out of this. I enjoyed writing with a broader nib than the needlepoint that is on this reverse architect. And so I inked it in October, and every time I pulled it out, I did not enjoy the writing experience. Now, I already know that if I am sticking with my choice for a creative journal in 2026, I will not be able to use a fountain pen. So it doesn't matter what nib sizes it is. It doesn't matter. If I'm going to continue, if that choice is not working out and I'm going back to the MD or Traveler's Company weekly insert, it has MD paper, it's a little bit toothier, this is also not going to work. So at this point in time, I'm actually considering letting go of the nib as well as the pen, because it just doesn't really make sense to hang on to it. I know that this is not a super expensive pen, but I've also don't have the best track record when it comes to these pens. They crack on me, and I would rather this be used by someone who doesn't have that problem and love it, instead of me ruining yet another pen and then having the problem that this isn't working out for me, you know? I'm not sure. I'm really not sure why I thought this was going to solve this issue. I mean, this is probably still usable. So, this is two maps that at the time, I just want to say this very clearly, that obviously I don't buy things where I already, when I push buy, I think, oh, this is not going to work out for me, or no. Obviously, I convinced myself at that specific time when I pushed the buy button that this was a great idea. And also, obviously, most of the time, and I will talk about this later if it isn't so, I don't instantly regret my purchases, and I don't regret the purchase of this pen either. Over the time of this year, I have just realized that I think it was an unnecessary purchase, if that makes sense. Okay, next one. Skogsy Choya. I'm very critical of myself today, so I'm not sure if this is going to go super well. I have loved Skogsy's, there's a shadow right here. Yep. Skogsy's very plain pens for a while. When I went to the San Francisco Pen Show, I was too late. They all already were sold out of most of the pens. None of the pens that he had still were pleasing to my eye. And I saw this on his site, and it's an Enigma stationary blank. The color is extremely appealing to me. I bought it and I love it. I haven't used it as much as I would have liked either. So when I'm pulling pens and choosing pens to ink, this is not a pen that I'm naturally drawn to. Might be an indicator that it's on the verge of the chopping block. Might not be. But just to be transparent, when I'm opening my pen case and I'm like, I want to use a maker pen, this is not the first choice. And it's not the pen's fault. I think the reason why this is that it is one single resin. And I really love pens that combine multiple different resins with each other, like this one. But I'm going to talk about that in a second because I purchased that later. Then let me see if I can find the pen body. I purchased the Kaweco Sport in gray off of Amazon because I wanted to compare it to the Benu Pixie that the people from Benu kindly sent to me for a review. And I instantly regretted the purchase. Like, this was just purchased for science, and I already knew that I don't like the Kaweco Sport. And when I opened it up and I touched it and I felt it, I was like, yeah, you absolutely do not like the Kaweco Sport. You just proved it to yourself. So what I did was I harvested the nib because I actually really like the double broad nib from Kaweco and put it on a section from on a nib. This is, oops, it's a little off, but this is a feed from the number 5 Schmidt nib that I had, and I took the nib from here, put it with the feed, paired it with the feed, shoved it in, it works. And so that is what this pen has in it, and it works really great. So yeah, this is in my dead body box. I have made the best of this purchase. I knew going in that this was just for science to be able to compare it to the Benu Pixie. I did that. It wasn't a super huge amount of money, and I decided that I would just call this for science for my YouTube channel for you guys. And I made the best of it because I harvested the nib. Then I purchased the Pelikan M800 Cream Blue. I had seen this in an unboxing video. I can't talk English today. From Carrots and Olives. And Carrots and Olives is really dangerous for me. She never pushes product, but the way she shares her unboxings, they are kind of toxic for me because every time she shares stuff, I feel like I need it too. But she got hers sometime in 2024, maybe late summer, at a sale on Endless Pens, and I wasn't able to. The unboxing, it was a pre-order, it came so much later than it was already back to normal price, and that was not the amount of money that I was able to pay. And then it came back on sale, and it was around 500 maybe. And so I actually sold quite a few of pens to be able to afford this one because I really like this. I was underwhelmed by the nib, and I inked it in September maybe. This fall, because I was so underwhelmed, I pulled out my green demonstrator Pelikan M800, inked both pens with the same ink, and made sure, treated the nib a little bit, sprung the tines a little bit, and made it flow wetter so that I would have the same writing experience as I do with the green demonstrator. This pen is going into my pen case for nib grinds to take with me to the Philly Pen Show. Because I have two fine Pelikan M800 nibs, I have decided that it would be really cool if I got a grind on one of them. You know, like branch out and experiment a little bit. And the reason why I am able to do this is because I usually don't ink the same nib of the same brand in the same ink rotation. So even if the grind that I get on this fine nib here turns out to be maybe a special grind that I need to be in the mood for if I want to use this pen, Pelikan nibs unscrew super easily, and I can just use the regular fine in here if I want to use the pen body and not the specific grind on the nib. So that's that one. So this, I would say, let's do unnecessary. How do you write unnecessary? Unnecessary. No, there's a C somewhere. Yeah, right here. Then fail, total fail. And let's use black then for absolutely great. No, absolutely great sounds. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. So I'm just going to circle these. So unnecessary is blue. This is definitely an unnecessary. This was unnecessary. This was, I need more. Heck yeah. But it's probably in between heck yeah and unnecessary. It's like half and half, because I wanted actually what I really wanted was a Skoxy low volume eyedropper, but those are outrageously expensive and really scarce. And so I thought I could still that craving with this pen. Wasn't the best idea. Kaweco Sport is a total fail. Then this one is a heck yeah. Leonardo Momento Zero Kintsugi. This was a Stilo exclusive for Black Friday, I believe, of 2024. I passed up on it because I didn't really want it. Then I saw videos of it. I really liked it. Then they opened up pre-order, and it took until February to get to me. And I was extremely disappointed because the inner polishing of this pen was underwhelming, which is the reason why I sold it a month after I got it. I think they missed an opportunity with this. It just looked so milky and just not up to my standards. And so, total fail. This was, I'm spending money for a Jowo nib holder. I don't really like Jowo nibs to begin with, so the nib isn't the draw here. It needs to be an outstanding, amazing pen body that I can put an amazing nib inside so that it works really well with each other. And so no. And then Ben of Mayfair Pens is one of the few pen makers that I have found that doesn't only, and I don't mean this in a negative way, because this pen design is amazing. It looks cool. I love how really, how do I say this? There's nothing, it doesn't have anything more, what is it, functional design? Maybe that's what I mean. I'm not sure. But this is precise. It is outstanding. It looks perfect in every way, shape, and form. And I like that it is so like minimal, this pen. There's no flourish to this whatsoever. Very functional design. This, also functional, is totally different, but he combines different resins with each other. And I feel like, not that, let me see if I can push up the lighting a little bit. Is this better? Is this better? No. Maybe like this, because it's almost not even visible here. Yeah, it's almost, it's night outside, even though it's the afternoon. I really like this. I haven't found, there we go, someone else that stands out to me that combines, other makers that combine resins are, for instance, White Bear Pens, Michaela from White Bear Pens, Rob from Rob's Penworks, which I have an eye on his pens. I would love to get my hand on one. I haven't. He's also really hard to come by. Papa J of Papa J Studios does that really well as well. And then Mayfair Pens. So this I saw, and it's actually, of the pens that he makes, it's not really one that would catch your eye. He has much louder models, but maybe that's the reason why it stood out to me. It's super dark. There is some chatoyance in the dark blue, but you don't really see it when you glance at it from afar. And then this teeny tiny speck of color. That is also muddy. And then we have the grip section here, which is his signature grip section. This is how he makes pens. This is what makes them special, besides the combination of the resin. And yeah, so when I'm picking pens, then I'm really very often drawn to these types of maker pens, which is something that now I have learned this about myself. I will remember moving forward. Franklin Christoph does this too. Franklin Christoph pens don't work for me for other reasons, but they also combine resins. That's why I was drawn to them in the beginning. So when I am moving forward with purchasing pens, then it can't just be a single color resin. And if it is, then the single color resin needs to speak to me so much that I really want to use it. That's what I learned. Now, this was a heck yeah. The Benno Pixie, and I put this on the wrong place because I put the rest over here, which is weird, was a gift from Benno. This is the first iteration of Benno Pixies. I liked it. I still like it. It's not extremely user-friendly because the cap pops off. They have since changed the design for the cap to fit better and fit snugly onto to be posted. I don't have any complaints about this pen. I'm not generally someone who loves using pocket pens, or not loves. I love using pocket pens. I love the idea of pocket pens more than I actually love using them. I think that is what it is. But I have found that you can screw a pilot parallel section on here. Now, I need to find a section for this, otherwise I can't demonstrate it. I know there must be one in here. Yes, here. Nope, wrong. This one is a pilot parallel section. I can just use the section, screw it onto the Bennu Pixie body, and use this. There is enough space in the pen to accommodate for the nib. No problems. Now, would I buy a whole... There is chewing on bones in the background now. Would I buy this pen if I hadn't been gifted it, if I were using it only with pilot parallel nibs? Probably not. Now, it was gifted, so I will totally use those any way I want. I do like the nibs that come with the Bennu Pixie, but not as much as the ones that come with the Euphoria and all the bigger pens. So the number 5 Schmidt nibs are okay. The number 6 Schmidt nibs I really love. So this one, I feel like this is another one of those that probably if I would put this, I wouldn't buy it. Only for pilot parallels. Then I purchased a pre-loved Bone Crusher 7 Studios Velma in Cosmic Cherry. I don't have this pen right now. It is with a friend who was testing it, and if I understand her current actions correctly, then Bone Crusher 7 Studio made her a pen that is smaller than the Velma. So I think I'm getting that one back. I like it, but just as this one and this one, I'm not drawn to them as much as I'm drawn to the pens with multi-resin things. And I'm really drawn, so if I'm drawn to a resin, then I love when the sparkle that is in the resin is holographic. The sparkle in the Cosmic Cherry is amazing, but it's golden. And so I really have to think hard if this is a pen that I want to keep. At the time that I purchased it, it was a total heck yeah. Because I now have 2, it might have been an unnecessary purchase, but I probably wouldn't have purchased this one if I didn't have the Cosmic Cherry. So it's like, it was a good step into the maker pen scene again. So now, I think this is a heck yeah. Even though, just like the Skogsy, this might be one that is on the, like, if I'm going to chop pens, I don't have to. There's no need. I already spent the money. So it's not like I want to put this here because I don't want to distract from what I'm working through. I already paid for them. My pen budget, let's talk about that really quickly. And I've already yapped for 30 minutes, so this is going to be a long video. I am using the money that comes in through affiliate programs, which I am only a part of one right now until the end of the year, which is Atlas Stationers. well, that's not 100 completely true. Let me elaborate on that in a second. I might be applying again. I haven't made up my mind just yet. But I'm not sure that they'll even take me. And if they don't take me, I'm not super mad about it, because the amount of effort I put in to promote them is rather minimal. And I think the sales that I bring in for them are because you, my loyal viewers, use my code occasionally, which isn't a bad thing, but you could also use somebody else's code, right? If I didn't have one. So that might be their thing. So that. In the beginning of the year, I was still doing Ko-fi, and I would use that money as well towards my pen and stationery budget, just like I did with Atlas Stationers. And I was in a tier at Atlas Stationers where I was able to be paid out through PayPal. So I could use that. Sounds weird, but that's what I did. I'm honest here. I would use funds that I got from Atlas to purchase a pen from a maker, for instance. Ko-fi. What else? YouTube. And selling pens. That is how my stationery and pen budget is made up. So if I don't sell any pens, if my YouTube tanks, if I'm not in an affiliate program, I don't have any more Ko-fi, so there's no money coming in through that. Besides the occasional kind of donation, which someone gifted me $10 just recently, and I thank you so much. It was a congratulations on my Snippets from my Desk episode 100, and I just really appreciated that gesture. But that is the amount of funds that I have for pens. Now, in the beginning of the year, I still had quite a bit, and so I was able to purchase quite a bit of pens. And I sold a lot of pens, a lot of high budget pens that had a lot of money incoming. So the Vanessa affiliate code works a little bit different. Lisa gives those people who have codes a budget that they can spend on the Vanessa site, which I think is totally fair. I actually, if I were to do an affiliate program, I would probably go that way as well. Because why would I want the person who is promoting my shop to spend the money like I did with someone else? And I really appreciate that. This is how I am able to, not think twice about ink samples or some ink bottles. I recently got some stationery. I unboxed it and shared it. That is stuff that I usually pay more than the budget that she gives. But I'm really appreciative of that. And I think she gives a budget for 3 orders per quarter or something. But I'm not really sure about that. And I am super loyal to Vanessa in the sense that if I want something, the first thing I look is on their site. All of my ink samples I get through Vanessa. That's why I don't have any Sailor ink samples. Those I get from friends, but I don't buy my ink samples anyplace else. So that's how I get my budget. And if I don't sell pens and if I don't get anything in, then I can't buy pens. Then I purchased the Pilot Custom 742 on Amazon in black. It was super affordable. I had it in my head that I wanted to try the FA nib right away. I actually inked up this pen and I really like this pen. It's black, it has gold trim, it looks classy. but I wasn't able to get the FA nib, the ink to flow. It probably was a problem with the ink that was in there, not so much a pen problem, but maybe me writing too fast with an FA nib, which is a flexible nib from Pilot. And then I am way ahead of myself. Yeah, then I bought a flexible nib factory housing and feed, so that I could transfer the nib into a JoWo number 6 compatible housing. And I used that nib on my, I don't know where that pen is. Maybe it's here. On my Mayfair, I don't know what the name for this pen is though. A Mayfair pen that is eyedropper filled, and put the flexible nib on here. And I loved it. The only thing I didn't love is the screw to post. So this is a fun pen now that I can use with bold nibs and put it into my play pen case. But I purchased this pen to put the nib onto a JoWo number 6 nib, which I did. I still have it on there. And then I thought I needed that Lamy All-Star Aubergine. This was a total failure. This is a heck yeah, because every pen that is super affordable with an amazing nib that I can put into a JoWo number 6 housing is a heck yeah body. But the Lamy All-Star Aubergine is here, and I had it engraved with something that some of my friends on Discord did, and I love it. However, I do not like the aubergine color of this pen. This is not aubergine. This is maybe dusty mauve. But yeah, to call this aubergine is not cool. I would love this if this was aubergine with this grip section. How amazing would that be? So, hell no, total fail. Total fail. Now we're coming into the category where I'm not sure. Then I saw Ben of Mayfair Pens share this pen on his Instagram stories, and I set a timer for the pen drop, an alarm, because this is right up my alley. And I think I have found the resins that I love. They are loud, they are neon, they are out there. And especially with this pen shape. This looks like a tulip. It houses another pen that I traded with Jeffrey of Desert Inkwell. I gave him one of my Benus, and he gave me this Sailor Go USA, and I just removed the nib, put it in a flexible nib factory housing, and now I have this nib on this pen. So this is a total heck yeah, and it's not just a total heck yeah, this is one of the contenders for best pen purchase of 2025. This is, when I saw this, I knew that this is how I was going to go in my resin purchase. This is not super polished. There's some, it looks matte, but also not. And this resin, this neon resin, is from Pens by Pasquale. Then I had a little bit of FOMO with the poorly controlled resins, and I saw this one and I was like, oh my goodness, this is a poorly controlled resin that I can totally get behind. It's very subtle, but there is some swirls up here, and the shimmer, this is more purpley iridescent, And then this is more teal. So it has a lot going on, but it's not as obvious as you'd think. Yeah, Bone Crusher 7 Studios. This is one of those that I think is going to stay. Not sure about the Cosmic Cherry. So this is also one of those, yeah, heck yeah. Then I commissioned this pen, and I think this is a Storm Winds Blank Blue Nebula resin from Hawktown Pens. It's the Swansea XL, and I really like the craftsmanship on this one as well. I have had quite a bit of problems with ink leaking into the cap, and I'm trying to figure out why that is happening, because it happened with every single nib that I put into this pen. So this resin looks really lovely. I love what's going on here. I love the blues and the purples and the holographic shimmer. So that is, this is nice. It's a heck yeah. It's not one of my favorites, mostly because of the fact that there is something going on. Then I swapped another pen with Wendy Sue of Fountain Pen News. This is the pen that I received. It's a comfortable pen. I haven't used it enough to decide if this is one that stays. It's here for now. This is the category of pens where I'm like, I would put these 4 into this category. I like them. They are here for now. They might not be here forever. Whereas this one, I feel like this one is here forever. Maybe it's going to change. Maybe it's never going to change, that opinion, but we will see how that's going to work out. So it's here. It's unnecessary, but I have a pen. So the pen that I traded off was a pen that I didn't want to sell. So trading was the only option. It wasn't usable for me. So this is more usable. It's definitely, I traded a pen that I couldn't really use because it didn't work for me to a pen that I can use. So it's definitely more usable than the other one, but it's not a pen that I would, if there was coming out a pen that I really, really wanted, this was one that I would probably sell. Then now we're coming closer, and maybe this is just how the journey went through 2025, that at the moment I feel like all the pens that I purchased then after are pens that are like, this is what I really want. The before was just the figuring it out. But maybe in 2026 I'm saying the same thing about these pens that I'm saying right now are amazing. So this is the White Bear Pens Ursa Minor. This is one of the Pride pen release, and this has special meaning for me because it's a Pride pen. I love the color scheme. It reminds me of watermelon, and this is an insider joke between me and my daughter. The barrel, unfortunately, discolored down here, which I have found that it doesn't seem to come off when I put inks in there, but I also can't seem to clean it thoroughly. I need to do a better job because I feel like there's blue here. What do you think? So maybe I need to clean this even more. The nib that is on here, this takes a Jowo number 6 nib, and I love how this whole pen situation looks with a Pilot Custom 74 nib, which is a small gold nib, like in size, compared to, for instance, this is a Pelican. It's much bigger. An M800 nib, and I don't have a Pilot number 15 nib. I have one Pilot number 15 nib. That is this one. So this is the smallest gold nib that Pilot offers, is the Pilot Custom 74 nib. And this combination of pen body and nib is so amazing that I would love to get a second one in the future. So this is totally a win. It has meaning for me, and I love the pen shape and the way it feels, so much so that I'm like, okay, now another one with holo glitter cap. This I think will stay, especially because it's stained in the body, and so I don't think it has a lot of resale value. I have tried every single thing that I know of how to clean it. I would love to meet Michaela at a pen show so that I can show her what it looks like in person, but not in order to, complain. More like, here, take a look at this. Do you have any idea why this happened? Type of thing. Because the ink that was in here was orange, and the discoloration clearly looks black or green. Then, so Mayfair Pens is my downfall. I'm not looking at his releases anymore. Then I saw this one, and this looks like, I don't know if this is the same resin, or this pink looks like the brother to this one. This is an eyedropper pen. So this is basically, he made this first, and this was a new pen that came out. It's the Arkenstone model, and it's basically this improved, because you don't have to post this to be able to have a full-size pen, but it works the same way. And I have the flexible nib from Pilot on here, and this combo is so amazing that I'm not going to change this ever. Oh, and I love how loud it is. Loud is something that seems to be working for me really well in the maker blanks, because this speaks to me, even though it's one type of resin, just one. So this is awesome as well. These are all heck yeah. This one, this one. Next one is a Lamy Safari. And now I need to figure out where that went. No clue. No clue. My desk is mess. Oh, right here. I'm always looking for the wrong pen case. I think I can leave this right here because there's a lot of pens in here that are coming up next. This is the Lamy Safari Itoya collaboration. It's called Copper 2. It's a blue, reminds me of the Pink Cliff pen that came out in 2023, I think. And for some reason, this understated Lamy Safari is my favorite at the moment. This is definitely a heck yeah. I bought this pre-loved as well. Then I was able to snag this pen from Papa J Studios. It reminds me of hippie batik shirts, a flower wreath in the hair, and there's a hollow cap. And then also, it does not have a Yovo nib, it has a Bock nib, and this is my very first Bock nib. Well, that's not technically true. I have a titanium Bock nib on a Leonardo. But this is my very first Bock nib, and I really like those nibs, so yay me. This is a stay here, heck yeah. It has a purple dot. It is a contender. And then I know I said I didn't really love those single types of pens, but then my friend Daisy was selling this one, And I mean, I have to make an exception for this. This kind of falls into my neon fountain pen collections. And I really love this pen. I wouldn't have thought ever, like if you had shown this pen to me 2 years ago, I would have told you I would never ever have a pen like this. Too wild. Doesn't make sense to me. Why would you want this? And I saw this, I wanted it, and I love it. I love that it is postable. It feels really good in the hand. Like everything about this pen feels nice. And so this is heck yeah. See what I mean? And then I was able to snag this Skogsy low volume eyedropper with the olive ebonite. Yeah, so my wishes have come true. And I really love this. The only thing that I'm noticing right now is that I have ink coming down here, so I might not have done the best job at sealing this with, what is it called? Sealing wax. Silicone grease. So I might need to reapply some stuff because this is starting to leak. So this is definitely one of those contenders for top 5. Then I did a really stupid mistake. I thought I wanted a Twisby Eco. This is the eggplant, and I actually really love the color though. For it's an extra fine nib. I was thinking maybe I want to switch the reverse architect in here, but I don't. If I'm going to use this, I'm going to use this with an extra fine nib. And I wanted this for document inks. And I'm not sure that I really want to use pigment inks, document inks. I have a pigment ink. I didn't even know this when I put it in here. It seems to be fine. So I'm not sure why I felt like if I put a black in here, it will seal well, will stay okay for a long time. But I'm currently not even sure that I actually want to go down that route. So this is one of the most unnecessary pen purchases of the year. And then instead of because I thought I was going to put in some Diamine Forever ink in a specific color, I went and bought a 3-pack of Platinum Preppies, which I now am using in my creative journal. And this has replaced the reverse architect nib with De Atramentis Document Black, and I really love how this works. So I didn't have to spend the money on this. This is actually much better. I'm not the biggest lover. I really hated the extra fine Platinum Preppy. And so I was super preppy averse for a long time. And then I thought, you know what? When did I ever try the 05? Maybe that is the size that I want. Got a 3-pack. It's awesome, but also kind of unnecessary, even though it has a black purple dot, because for the price, man, it writes fantastic. Like, look at this. This is the nib width that I like. It flows extremely well. No issues. Love it. I could even see using this in my planner. So let's talk about the gifted pens, because I collaborated a lot with Benu this year.
I received a Benu Daily Mate in the beginning of the year that I sold, mainly because I was not gravitating towards it at all. I did not enjoy having to unscrew 7 times until the cap came off. So I let it go and was able to use the funds from this for something else. I really love this one. It is the Summer Magic. It's purple. The artwork on this is amazing. So this is, I didn't spend money on it, but I chose it and I chose really nicely. Like, this is a pen that I think is going to stay. The storks have a little story. There is a story attached, and I just can't get over it. The attention to detail and the depth that is created in these tiny paintings. Like, wow. So I love this one. Then I got the Benu Pixie set. I have 2 of those left. I gifted one of those to my goddaughter in Germany, and then I kept the purple and the magenta one. These are currently eyedroppered with ink and used with Pilot Parallel sections. I really like to use them for that, but these are not pens that I would ink in my normal ink rotation, but I love them for this reason. It's another one of those, yes, gifted, yes, purchasing, not sure. The Benu Haute, I have inked both of them right now. Where's the Allure? One of them is the Allure, the other one is the Satin. These are absolute fantastic pens. So yeah, I have no complaints about them, especially in the, now I'm speaking from the point of these were gifted to me. Had I spent money on those, I think, I love Schmidt nibs. They're steel nibs. I want to get one ground eventually so that I can have some variation. But my very first Benu Euphoria that I purchased, I got at Atlas Stationers during their Black Friday or Fountain Pen Day deal, and I got it for a whopping $80. Yep. Maybe because it was a color that didn't go so well. I mean, in comparison to many of their models, this one is not super loud. And it's one of the older ones where the grip section and the cap band are black. So yeah, but the nib is still the same. The design is still amazing. Would I spend $80 on 5 of these? Totally. Would I spend $220 for this one? Probably not. Would I spend $150 and collect multiple Benu Euphorias? Probably yes. So I'm kind of biased, and I have learned over this 2025 that if you give me a nib that is amazing in one way or another, I don't really have to have the prettiest, most amazing pen body. Like, if I would put a sailor nib on this, I would love this pen. Is it like super overwhelming in the design like this one? No. For me, the nib, the writing experience, the nib is the most important thing. And so if I had to spend my own money on these nibs, I would go for the cheapest available option and go with the on sale Benu Euphoria. Yeah. that's that. It's still pretty. It's still out there. I mean, and so, yeah. But now that I have these, I have to say that these are absolutely amazing. I love the shape of this pen. It's just so elegant and it feels so good in the hand. So I'm really glad I was gifted these. No shade thrown. I'm so grateful for Benu to keep collaborating with me. It means so much. The only thing that I'm not really super happy about is the fact that I'm closing this all the way. This is open, so I have to turn it more. Now this facet right here does not align with the facet on the pen, which is a little sad. It's much better here. I don't know why that happened, but yeah, they're really lovely. I have been writing with them since I got them. Yeah, totally lovely. I really enjoy using them. And well, they feel a little more polished than this one, but this could also be because this is from 2022 and this is from 2025. So next one that I got gifted just this week is the Asvine C80. As I said, I don't really care about the resin as long as the nib is fantastic. And this is what makes this pen so outstanding. This nib is the bomb. It's like, out of this world. This is a pen that currently costs $28. With a coupon, it's 26. And you, I'm dissing all of these pens right here. You don't need a $160 Jovo stick. You can just buy an Asvine for 26 with, I think they have fine, extra fine, and medium and stub. And be extremely happy. Sell all of your other pens and get rich. And just use these. The size is amazing. The way the pen writes feels awesome. Of course, because this is new, I have no idea how it works with, long term. Does it evaporate? How does that feel? All of that jazz. I don't know yet. But wow, am I impressed by this nib. Serious love story here. So that's the gifted pens. I have one more that was gifted that I actually completely forgot about because I actually want to ink it. This was sent to me by Jamie from Pen Xer. She also sent over a converter for me to be able to use it. This is a pen that I believe Peyton Street Pens Frankensteins. So they find these old school Schaefer pens and then they match them with Ranga pen bodies. And so you have, maybe this is, everything else is cracked and broken, but you now have the opportunity to be able to use this nib. I think that's super fantastic. I can't really say anything about this yet. I have dipped it, haven't used it with an ink yet. So this is something that I'm going to be working on. But man, so what did I learn? After an hour of yapping and talking about all the pens that I purchased that are still in my possession besides the Kintsugi. This one is engraved, so it doesn't seem like there's any interest in this. So if you are interested in buying this, reach out to me. I would happily sell this to you. I'm not sure about the TWSBI Mini if I want to sell this. Or if I, like, is there going to be a time and place where I really would want to use this ever again? Not sure. I learned that I should stay away in the future from resins that are one single color. I should look at pens that have neon elements in them. I should buy pens that I want instead of the replacement that is more affordable. I should stop buying Jowo nibs, Jowo pens, if I don't have a replacement in the form of a harvested nib or a SIG nib. I tried the broad and medium SIGs that I already own. In this rotations, they're awesome. If I don't have a nib that I can put into these Jowo sticks, they're not appealing to me. So that's what I have learned. Where does this lead me? I don't know. It leads me to, now that I'm looking at these, and these are just the 2025 pens, it makes me feel like I have a really good basis. And I don't need more right now. I feel like if I want to bring in another Jowo stick, and I know that this sounds like I'm not saying this in a mean way, but like if I want to bring in another one of these, I probably will need to get rid of them as well. And that's where it leads into my nib inventory. I need to figure out which nibs I really like using, how many those are, how many Jowo compatible nibs I have, housings for and pens for, so that they can be housed in pens permanently. And then see if there is need for more Jowo sticks, or if I've already satisfied the Jowo stick need. And if that equals, if the Jowo sticks that I own equal the Jowo nibs housings that I own, then I should probably start to enact a one in, one out policy. And if I don't want to let go of one of them, then that probably means that I don't want the pen that I see as much as I thought I would. Right? Because if I'm changing out the stick to put the nib on, then I probably don't need it in my collection if I can't let one of them go. Oh my God, I love how black this looks up here. Ugh. Yeah, Mayfair does some amazing color combinations for sure. So, what else? I also learned through my Lamy thing is that if I have a favorite Lamy, I'm just going to change out the nib. I am not someone who inks up 5 Lamys. I ink up one for the nib experience, and that's it. So I don't need 5, 6 Lamys, because the one that I love will be used with the nib that I want to use. Instead of, I want to use the B nib. The B nib is on the Lamy Aubergine, so I will use the Lamy Aubergine. It's like, this copper still is amazing. Let me use the broad nib today, so I'll use this pen. What else did I learn? I learned that you can never have enough play pens. Play pens are essential. I love that I found this category of pen. So So these are all go here. I learned that I do not need the one size mini to house Pilot Parallel nibs because this works just as well. Yeah, I think that's all I learned from all the pens I purchased. This one is one that I might sell. This one is one that I might sell. What else do I have here on this list? If you're interested in the Cosmic Cherry, please reach out and I could arrange that my friend sends it directly to you. Otherwise, I would just, you know, we can talk about it. If this pen really speaks to you, let me know as well. Maybe no. See, I'm not, and that's also one of those things that I realized. Maybe I will sell this pen, but I'm not done with it just yet. Nice, nice. Heck yeah, heck yeah, heck yeah. Twisby Eco. This one. I'm like, really, should I ink it and try and use it? Or should I just say, someone commented on my Twisby sob story video, it is user error. I'm like, okay, cool, thanks. So maybe I should sell it before it gets used. I really like that purple. So if you're looking for a really intense imperial purple in a Twisby Eco, go with the eggplant. This is also, by the way, not eggplant color, people. Like, how? Does not compute. So that's it. I think that's it. Am I closer to my favorites? Yes. I might film that tomorrow. Thank you so much for sitting with me talking about pens. One other thing that I learned about myself is that I really love harvesting nibs. So I'm onto something. I actually bought 2 more to harvest yesterday. Yup. But those will not appear in this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you. I love talking with other nerds about pens and stuff. People who get me. Well, you don't get me. But who understand on the surface level. Thanks. Thanks for being here. Thanks for talking with me. I will see you again next time. Until then, bye.